Hi friends, in this video we'll have a look at the input-output statements in C. Okay, purpose of any software program is to solve the user's needs. Okay, when you want to solve the user needs, you have to get the input from their user. Okay, from them. Okay, so in C we have a lot of statements to get the input from the user. So we have a library function called studio.h, std standard io.h, that's called studio. Okay, std stands for standard, io stands for input output. Okay, so it has a lot of input output functions which predominantly focus on helping out the getting the user's input and printing it back to them so that he or she can look at it. Okay, so you don't need to memorize all of them, just be familiar with them. Once you get it, you'll be able to solve it, because invariantly you'll use a lot of things. Okay, before going into the details, we'll look at few words called there is something called stream. Okay, so all input output are formed with streams. Stream is nothing but in English we know it, right? A small current of water which is running through some path. Okay, the same way here, instead of water, we'll have a sequence of characters which is organized into lines or separated by a separator, delimiter, which we call. So which is given to the program, which the program can read from the certain location. Mostly the location could be from a file or from network or from the command prompt or the terminal, whatever it is called. So you can read it. Okay, so it always ends with a new line character. Okay, there are some places where new line space is also considered as a term delimiter. Okay, it depends upon the function which you use it for reading. Okay, the most of the data which is comes as a stream, the source is a keyboard where some person types it, or it's from a disk drive where it reads from a file. It could be a network connections through a socket. Or it could be somewhere from a memory itself. You can read a file from data from the memory. Okay, and finally you output the data bytes to some place like a screen or a printer or a disk drive. Writing back to the file or network. For example, if you're chatting with writing a chat program, you'll send the data back to the server using a TCP or a UDP connection, whatever connection which is needed for that. Okay. So there are different type of streams in C. Okay, so first is standard input stream. It's called stdin. Okay, and the standard output stream is called stdout. Okay, so the standard input stream is directly connected to the keyboard. So and the same way standard output is connected to the screen. And there is also another stream called error. If there is an error, by default it will be returned to this stream. And you can map that stream to a place. Most probably the standard error is also mapped to a display. Okay, so you can visualize this and keep this image in memory. So this is how the streams are mapped. Okay, the input is from the keyboard and the output and error is to the monitor, but you always have a choice to divert it to something else, to a printer or something else, but by default it is like that. Before going to the stream, you should know something called escape sequence. Escape sequence is like there are some special characters which are considered to be special. You have to add a slash before them to identify that as a slash, that character. For example, single quotes. If you want to add a single quote in a string, you have to add a slash. Double quotes, you have to add a question mark, you have to add a slash. If you want to add a slash, you have to add a double slash. Okay. For tab /t, vertical tab /v, new line enter. It's a combination of /n plus /r. Okay, carriage return plus new line. Carriage return is the enter and new line is the /n. You have to have a combination. So these are some of the escape sequences which you need to keep in mind. Okay, and now here comes the functions. These are the standard functions which helps you to get the data. So generically we have two functions, printf and scanf. By now you would have understood that. And for getting a single character, we have getChar, putChar. And if you want to read a string, use gets and puts. Okay, so that's a get string. S stands for string. Okay, so let's see a simple sample program. It's from 0 and it goes till thing, and then prints the marks for the particular number of things. Yeah, that's all. Very simple program. Okay, so if you get 3, you'll get 3 numbers. So if you give 5, it will get print all the numbers. If you get 0, if you give 0, it will not print any number. So that's all it is doing. So printf is the one which is going to write into the screen, and if you see there is a /n, that's a escape character. Okay, escape sequence which we were seeing it. So which means that go to the next line. If I remove it, it will be, everything would be in the same line. If I add it, so it will print line by line. First line will be 10, second line it will be 20, and in the scanf, if you see there is an ampersand which we have put it, which means that give the memory address. So now we are just compiling the program, gcc input.c -o myinput.c. So okay, I made a mistake. So instead of exe I have put c. It doesn't matter. So I am just changing it. So recompile it. So the data is over here. Like, let's run myinput.c. It will ask for the input. So it will ask for the number actually. What is the number of elements which you want to print? So it has asked for. So once I give the input, so it's 3. So it's printing 3 numbers. That's all. Very simple. Okay. So if I run 4, it will print for 40 till 40. Okay. So that's all. It's a standard simple program. Now let's remove the /n and compile the program again. Okay. So if let's clear the screen and then do it. GCC compile it again, and then now if let's run the myinput.exe and I give the number as 3. See, it's printed in the same line. The /n escape sequence was removed, so it is printing continuously. It is writing as a stream of data. It doesn't know how to print it. So unless we instruct it to print, it will not do it right. Okay. So the workouts. So first is like get 5 numbers and find the average. There is a spelling mistake. It's not find. It's FIND. Okay. So, and very, very important question. Why we need an ampersand operator in the scanf but not in the printf? If you are able to answer this, you will be able to understand amazing things. Okay. This is very, very important questions. And there is something called format specifiers. So understand the format specifiers. What is a format specifier and why it is used? And how to print a floating point number. Try to do it. So that is also another interesting thing to do it. How to get a string. We have seen the functions. So gets versus scanf. This is very, very important because most of the time when you are reading a line of data, you need this. Okay. Thank you, friends. Bye-bye.